Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meet an Entrepreneur. My name is Deborah. I'll be your host on this show. And today I have two panelists. One is Dr. Eric Aite, and the second one is Tumi Oluyole. I'll let them introduce themselves. Eric?
So my name is Eric. I've been teaching for some years now. So to apply what I teach, I also have small businesses on the side. So I have a financial planning firm and also do translations on the side, among other small things I do. So
Thank
that's
you.
me.
Welcome to the show. Tumi?
Hi guys, my name is Tumi. I am a CPA. I've been practicing accounting and taxes for almost 14, 15 years. So it's really my passion, amongst other things that I do. And so, but especially I love doing taxes and doing high level accounting work. As we go along today, I hope you can get some more information about me and how we can definitely help you going forward.
I really love that introduction. So today's topic is payroll versus 1099. We have a lot of entrepreneurs, we have a lot of business owners here, and they started small.
I think our internet froze up a little bit.
I hope everyone is back.
Yes, we're back.
Okay, we are
We're here.
back. Yes, so back to today's topic, payroll versus 1099. Like I was saying, we have a lot of entrepreneurs on this platform, and they started really small. As they were growing, they started using contractors. But the big question is, when do you know it's time for you to start hiring employees? And when do you know when you should stick with your 1099s and what is a 1099? So that's a very complex question. We will start with you, Eric. As an entrepreneur, when do you know it's time for you to hire people?
I'll say probably when you start dreaming big. So if you wake up and you have a dream that you can be able to pay people and keep them for a long time, that's probably the time to start hiring. Let me just explain that in more details. So suppose that somebody is working for you just 5 hours a week, doing whatever they have to do to help your business. I mean, that's not a sufficient amount of time to put them on a payroll. Because when you have an employee, you're going to spend more money for benefit and other things like that. So it might be too soon. But when the hours are increasing for somebody and they are working probably, let's say, close to 40 hours, it might be time to bring them on board. So I'll just stop there and then I will have probably Tumi add some ideas to them.
Okay, Tumi, your question is, what are the tax implications?
Just like Doctor just said, you got to really look at when and how when it's time for you to actually start putting people on your payroll. It is important to know that once you put somebody on the payroll, there are two different taxes, right? The employee will be taxed as well as the employer. And in addition to that, the employer actually will pay more taxes in this case than the employees. And we will get down to what those different taxes are. And so going by your question, Ms. Deb, the tax implication is bringing somebody in, hiring employees. You have to be prepared to pay your own employer share of your taxes as well as your withdrawing taxes from the employees. And so it is important also to know that you don't choose when to make somebody a 1099 or a contractor or an employee. Typically, you don't choose. There are some tests that you have to check and go through. And if that test, if the test concludes that you have to make them a W-2, then you have. A quick example of that would be, do you have full control over these employees? Do you control their time? Do you control the knowledge? Do you control a lot of things they do? if you have control over them, you have to make them a W-2. And like I said, we will talk more down the line.
Wow, you said a lot. So before even continuing, what is a 1099? Anyone?
So 1099 is just somebody who is a contractor. That means they are working with you, but they are not working for you, if I can say that way. So suppose that somebody does a part of your job or does something for your company, but you don't want to keep them or have them as an employee. So what you can do is to give them work from time to time. In that case, there'll be what we call 1099 or contractor. So that's somebody that you are working with without them being on the payroll or working for your company, if I can put it that way.
Okay. Any addition?
Well, since you talked about 1099, I will just use that to now roll over to what I know we've been using a jargon since we started W2. I would rather use the word employee, but the reason why we've been using W2 for the benefit of those is that that's the form you get at the end of the year, right? 1099 is the form that a contractor will get at the end of the year, and W2 is a form an employee we get at the end of the year. And so I just wanted to have that. So an independent contractor, as Doctor said, gets a 1099, and then while an employee of anybody, of any corporation, businesses, whatsoever, you get a W-2 at the end of the year.
So is it an easy thing to do to start having employees? What are the steps? Just the basic steps.
Um, First of all, if I can take this, Dr.
Yes,
Yite.
go
Oh, go
ahead,
ahead, go
please.
ahead.
All right. First of all, I kind of mentioned something earlier. The basic test is, do you have control over this individual or these individuals? What do we call to be control? I would say you have somebody that you call to your house to come fix your air condition or to come fix your HVAC or whatever it is in your house, right? You call that person in. The person comes to your house with their own equipment. They come to your house with their own with their vehicle. They come to your house with you provided nothing for them, right? This particular person comes in and does the job. It's their home. Typically, that is the kind of test you would look at before you can start. So the employer sending those people out, and I think I can give you a great example. Cox Communications or even Service One, they usually send different people out. Okay. You will think they're employees of Cox or employees of Service One. They are not. They are usually independent contractors hired by Cox to do this job. So the equipment, most of the stuff they use is not for Cox. It is mainly for those people. We call them freelancers. They are freelancers, and if you're a freelancer, you have to use your equipment. So with that being said, people like that, they don't control what equipment they use. They are professionals in their field. So there's no control from Cox, and they are not their employees. All right. Now, if you now go the other way, those that work inside the Cox offices, right? The people when you go and you return your box, or the people that make calls, the customer service, etc. Cox provides the offices for them. Cox provide their phones for them. They go in and they do a lot of different stuff for Cox, and Cox controls their hours and things like that. That is, you have to look at the distinction between those two and say, okay, well, I have full control over this employee. This other person, I don't have too much control over them. Then you cannot really call them an employee or put them into an employee position. But once you can control that, that is when you want to start thinking at the back of your mind that you want to make them an employee. Quickly, the reason why this is important is because if you get audited and you did not pass that test that I just mentioned now, the states, most especially, would now consider them as an employee and make you pay back taxes and current taxes that you've not paid for those 1099 contractor individuals we talked about. Sorry for taking too long.
No, it's okay. I like the details. Eric, did you have something?
Now, one thing also I wanted to add is how many hours they are working. So this is something that you will notice usually. This is going back to why the company might make some people employees versus keeping contractors on side. So I would take a company such as DoorDash. I don't know if you guys are familiar with DoorDash.
Oh yeah,
This food delivery.
COVID-19
Okay.
made us discover DoorDash. So
DoorDash or even Uber, we can say. So people don't want to be working, they might be maybe working hours, many hours, but usually they have a main job and then they will go and do this in addition. So these are just few hours that they are adding to their main load of hours that they are working. So in that case, company is going to choose not to have them as employees because they have to shell out so much money to be able to pay benefit and all that. So they're on the side, and that will also bring down the cost for the company. Is that making sense? So
yes.
this is not looking at things from the standpoint of an accountant, but just somebody looking at it from business standpoint.
Oh wow. So you guys mentioned W2. I heard 1099. I think I heard W9. Or was it just
Was he
me?
confused or did you say W9 to me?
Well, let's
Oh yeah,
pretend
so
he said it.
I think I did mention W9 at one
Yes.
point.
Okay.
The difference between a W9 and W4. So W9. So if you and if you are a small business owner or an employer out there, and you're going to be, it doesn't even matter what kind of services you're requesting for. Always have your subs or your subcontractor or your contractors. Always have them fill out what we call a W9. And a W9 form is for local. It's just to get the local information for you to be able. If you're audited, those are the things that the state would also ask for you. Okay, well, you said you claim to pay this amount of money for something. Who did you pay it to? What is your status? Because that is a way to prove and document as well too. So W9 is referenced when we talk about independent contractors, and W8 as well. But W8 is usually for internationals, for foreigners. But mostly, if you're doing business in America, most people do use W9. I'll let Dr. Ayite explain
So
W2.
if you look at the form, it's mostly just biographical information that they're asking you. So at the top, they're going to ask for your name or business name. And then once you go down, they're going to ask for address. And then at one point, they're going to ask for your social or EIN for that matter. So it's mostly to be able to get information on the person who is getting into business with that company, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm very interested in that W8.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can pull it up, but
Um,
I don't know. I mean,
W8,
you don't have to. I'm just,
like the form.
if you
Yes.
can pull up the form so people can see it.
Oh, okay. I think I will
You don't have to do it. I'm just.
yes, I'll put it in the comment box later. And guys, if you have any questions, please put it in the comment box. That way we can address the questions as they come. So I was saying that I'm very interested in the W8. Let's say you are here in the US, you're a business owner, and you are using contractors from overseas. Will that be a form to use, or how does it work?
W8 wouldn't be a form that you would use. There's another form that you actually have to file for your taxes if you make money outside of the United States. That's not a topic of discussion today. W8, on the other hand, actually is a form almost to collect taxes in the United States from foreign nationals or foreign first.
Okay, got you. Okay, foreign nationals.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. So, tell me, when using contractors and you don't have them fill out the W9 form, what are the possible consequences if you get audited?
Okay, do you want
Eric?
to
Yeah. So, suppose that you are paying somebody. I'm gonna look at it this way though, not just for tax consequences, but you could also be cheating yourself. Suppose that you work for me and I'm paying you. How am I gonna be able to support the fact that I want to deduct the expenses? if there's no proof of that. Is that making sense to you?
Yes.
Once again, this is somebody looking at things from a business standpoint. So if I'm paying you, I want to be able to deduct expenses, because if I pay you to do something for me, that's expense for my business. That's going to lower my taxes. But if I don't have any proof, then not only could I get in trouble, but I'm also cheating myself.
Right.
So it makes sense as a business person. That should be the first thing that you want to think about. Get the information and file things properly, because that will be in the long run beneficial to you. Now, talking about tax consequences, Tumi, do you want to add something to that effect?
Not much. I think you covered it. But the only other thing that I was going to say is you actually mentioned, aside from an accountant standpoint, and I think you gave a good point on it. And then for we accountants sometimes, and for the state auditors as well, for instance, the boxes kind of helps you to see, all right, what do I need to send a 1099 to, right, at the end of the year, if you fill out that W-9. For instance, you do collect, you mentioned it as a geographical information, statistical information, but then it also gives you as accountants, when we're doing yearbooks, and say, all right, did you send a 1099 to this person? And there are some people you don't even need to when we look at it. For instance, you can mark a box as a sole proprietor or a partnership or an LLC, and you can mark it as a corporation as well. You don't need to send a 1099 to corporations. Okay, some people still choose to do it, but you really don't need to do it. In addition to that, I know we haven't gotten to that point yet, but you still don't have to send a 1099 if you actually pay somebody below $600. I still think that still stands. It's been a while. It's been around for so long.
Yeah, that's true. That's still something. Yeah.
Okay. And so it helps us accountants to see, okay, well, this is somebody you need to send a 1099 to. First of all this is going to be deducted from your account. And if you don't have that statistical or geographical information, how are you going to send it? Tax implication, you can also get penalized. When you're filing your tax return at the end of the year, there is a question that asks you, do you have subcontractors? Do you have contractors? If you say yes, we ask you the next steps. Did you send them a 1099? Okay. Did you send them a 1099? All right. That is where it counts. If you say no, you're already subjecting, giving the IRS a red flag right there. And if you say yes, you're ready to prepare to support, have a support for both the 1099 and the W-9. So mainly, they might not ask for the W-9. The W-9 just helps you to support your 1099 at the end of the day. So it's really a good practice to keep track of your W-9s as well.
Wow, that makes sense.
Also, you just want to, this is just a general good business practice, is to keep good track of everything that you have as expense. You don't want to be just guessing things that you did. You want to make sure that you have proof of everything that you send out. So if you are paying somebody cash under the table, are you going to deduct that? Do you have any proof of that? So those are questions you have to ask yourself. And some of them make sense. So if you pay somebody cash and you deduct that, they ask you for proof. I mean, are you going to make a copy of the cash you have given them?
Okay.
So those are something to keep in mind. Yeah.
It will be interesting to sit in one of your classes, okay?
You should be welcome.
Funny, both of you
really
are
funny.
instructors. All right. So my follow-up question to both of you is, so let's say, is there any time frame that you need to send the W-9s out? Let's say I started not employing, but I started using a contractor 3 months ago. I've never sent them a W-9 form. Is that too late?
No, I only say it's too late. I mean, you want to do that right away. That's the best way to do that. But the time you're supposed to do it is today. If that makes sense. So it's never too late. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So it's better to do it late than never to do it and get in trouble. But do it as immediately when things start going on between you. That's the time to do it.
Okay. Any addition to me?
No, like I said, it's never too late. If you just realize that you know you're paying somebody for something, it doesn't matter. Even if you have a real estate and you have somebody as a renter, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or you're renting from somebody, make sure you get a W-9 and from them as soon as you can. But it's never too late. But just get it as soon as you figure out that you are supposed to be sending a 1099 to somebody.
All right. Before we continue, I would like to give a shout out to Nicole. Thank you for watching, Nicole. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment box and we'll make sure to address all the questions that we receive. So let's tackle a little bit the payroll, right? So let's say you pass the test and you're ready to take on employees. What are the first steps?
Do you mean as far as how much you're gonna be deducting from the paycheck? Is that what you mean by that?
No, okay. Those are the questions that you need answers to. But now I'm ready to have employees. What should I do? Do I need
You know,
a state tax ID? Do I need to file with anyone, any authority? I mean, what should I do? I'll call on, I don't know, an accountant. Hey, I'm ready to have employees. Can you help me? I mean,
well, I guess if I'll kind of jump in first to take this. First and first is you got to realize what you want to do, how you want to achieve your stuff. Either way, I always tell people when you, as a small business owner, do not do sole proprietorship. Always create your business. Like always, do. It doesn't matter. Get your name separated from your business. It separates your liability. It doesn't matter if you're an LLC, limited liability company, or a partnership, or a corporation. Just separate your business from your personal. Get your EIN and also get all of your state information as well too. At the end of the day, the goal is for you to grow your business. So if you start having employees, you have to apply for the state ID. If you apply for it in the beginning, it saves you time, or you can also apply for it down the line. I don't remember what the form is called. And was it for me from 22 for state? Every state has a different name for the form. And so that's one. And then the second thing is when you start hiring, you have to fill out, most especially in Nebraska, you have to fill out a form. I don't remember what that website is.
There's also I-9 that you have to go through.
Yeah, get all the I-9, and there's a website actually you have to report hiring people in there. I will give you that website before we end today. So your first step is, okay, well, now I am ready I have my bank account, I have my business, I have my state ID, because that's how you will be able to deduct it. And once you have that, for those that do not want to engage accountants, I would highly recommend engaging accountants or somebody, just because you want to focus on your business and do your business and grow your business, and let somebody that's a professional do your business. And I'll tell you from my experience, if you come for me to fix something for you, you pay me more than me holding your hands along with you in the beginning and doing the things the right way. And sometimes I don't even get into, if it's too troublesome, you will pay me and then I send you away if I can't fix it, if it's just too much. But you really want to involve an accountant really in the beginning, so that you're set up right. You have all of your information the right way, your chart of accounts, your bookkeeping, everything is set up right for you, and even your payroll is set up right for you. Because there's a lot of things that are in payroll. I'll kind of let Dr. Ayute kind of take over from here. So those are the first things: your state ID, and then making sure you get somebody that knows how to help you to set you up right on it.
So one thing I would like to expand on is just this idea that if you're a business person, you want to focus on your trade, if that makes any sense. You don't want to be juggling too many things, jack of all trades and master of none. It doesn't work real well in business, because you might end up losing everything on both ends, if I can put it that way. So it's good to have somebody who is watching everything that you are doing from the beginning and make sure things are done well. You don't want to be at the end of the year and trying to remember things that you should have done at the beginning. You don't know if you wrote down a piece of toilet paper or not. I mean, you just don't remember. That would be a mess, So have somebody who is taking care of all those things for you so you can focus on your business. That's one thing I would say.
All right. So thank you both for those clarification and details. The next question is, okay, so well, you kind of answered that question by what Tumi said, hire an accountant, and you emphasize on it, say you need to focus on your trade, right? How much does an accountant cost?
Is that an obvious question? Not obvious, but we know who that's going to. So I'm not going to answer that.
All right, it's going to you, Dr.
So we are listening to you, sir.
Well, this is the deal. I always tell people you get what you pay for. Okay. And I get people come to me, a lot of clients come to me, almost an average of two every week sometimes. I don't take everyone, I don't, and I'm always honest. My hourly rate, depending, ranges from 250 to 325 an hour. But I do a lot of things because I don't do data entry. I don't do data entry. I have people that will do the data entry for me. And so I would still be with you, involved, get myself involved in everything that needs to be done. And for the data entry side and some other stuff, I can go from $70 an hour to $125 an hour. But the truth is, you get what you pay for. I would always, it's not about money sometimes at the end of the day, but you're getting an accountant that is vested in what you do. I tell people I just don't do your taxes for one time and then I'm gone. I look at your taxes. I help you plan your taxes. If you're not happy, if you're not deducting enough, or if I kind of notice something, I say, hey, I actually ask you questions. I just don't go by what you give to me. I ask you questions, important questions that is pertinent to you, not just filling out a form. And so I've saved people money, but then sometimes I have made people realize that they are not doing it right and they hold more money. But what I've done is always the right thing, and people really always appreciate me, and that's why I've had the same customers for 14 years, and that's why it's always hard for me to get more customers.
Oh wow. Do you have any comments, Eric?
So it depends. At the beginning, you might not have to go that high. But one thing I would say, once you start getting bigger, you also want to get someone who is as big as you to be able to support you, if that makes sense. Now, if I'm
Wow.
making I start a business, I'm making $300 a week, maybe it's not sufficient to hire somebody like Tumi.
Oh my God, you just kicked me off. I just lost customers right now.
No, but here we go. Here we go. Now, as they are growing, though, yes, you have to go to him. Now, what I'm saying is that if you are making $300 a week, it may not be enough. All right. So you might start small. But once you are going up the stairs, then you probably want to have somebody who is at your size, if I can put it that way.
Okay, that makes sense. And we will take a quick break. This show is being sponsored by Gen Prof Omaha. I'm going to try to play a video. I haven't tested this. Bear with me. And then when we come back, we will talk about the smaller ones. What are some of the options that they may have? Are there tools like softwares that they can use for the time being? Keep watching, don't go away. Okay, here we go. Allow, and then All right, so that was our sponsor today. Let's get back to where we left it off at.
Just so you know, there was no volume there. There was no sound.
There was no sound.
Oh, did you hear something, Dr. Ayide?
No, that was a little bit low. That was very low.
Oh.
Was it low? Oh well, I really have it's technology, guys. Bear with me. So the question before we took the break was for smaller businesses, what are some of the options available if um, they're not in a position to afford someone like to me?
Dr. Ayide, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hello?
I said I'll let you go ahead. Or do you want to take it?
Yeah, okay. So you have many software that you can use. One which is familiar to most people gonna be QuickBooks. If you have any QuickBooks software, you probably have Payroll that will be incorporated into that. So you can click on that and they will ask you a question and you'll be able to do your payroll that way. So you can just go, suppose you go to Google and then you try to find out payroll software. There are many of them. One thing I would do first is to try to look at their reviews. Look at their reviews and make sure you like the experience that other people had with them before you are going with them, because you don't want them to make a mess for you and then you may have to take to somebody to fix. That's just at the beginning. So we have different options. So mostly the one I mentioned gonna be QuickBooks, and then there are some other ones that you can just look up. I think there is also one which is called, let me look it up very quickly. I think there's one which is called Half Price Soft. That's another one that I used in the past. So just go online and you can find some. To me, you can jump in and add more things to what I said.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't done too much research on a lot of accounting software. There's a lot out there. Like Doctor mentioned, I'm very good with QuickBooks. I'm a pro advisor as well. That's what they call you if you are very good with QuickBooks. And so I've used QuickBooks Desktop, which is the one that you put on one desktop, and you use right now. Most people are going on to what we call QuickBooks Online. That's what I would recommend for small businesses because it's been proven over time to be good. And so even though it's a household name, I still think they haven't done anything yet to take away any trust of mine. Other ones you can use is called Sage. Sage is also it's okay. It can handle almost similar to QuickBooks, good for small businesses as well. So if we're talking about small businesses, that's what I would recommend because other ones I just, when I get to Oracle or when I get to, some other big enterprise, that's for huge companies that really can afford it and that want to really integrate all of their departments and systems together.
All right, so I do have a question. Those software that you can use are not free, right? They come with a cost. So, and this question goes to me. For small businesses, rather than them going to use those softwares, do you have like any plan for
Yes,
them?
actually, QuickBooks actually makes it a little bit better, even though the difference is not that much. They, as I said, I was a pro advisor. So as a pro advisor with QuickBooks, I can pass on some discounts to my clients and to whoever my partners are. And so that's an advantage they get. So they pay me and I pay QuickBooks directly, but then they get, I don't know, maybe about 5 to 10% off of what it is. And so that's what they usually get. And then I think that's pretty much what we usually pass if you're getting QuickBooks. And it depends. Like Doctor said earlier, there are different packages. Since we're talking about payroll, you cannot use basic QuickBooks. You have to
Mhm.
use at least the next level or the total level, depending on how much you want to get involved. So the basic level doesn't include you having payroll. And if you use the basic level right now, I think it's about $15 a month. If you come with a pro advisor, I believe it's probably $12 a month when you do that. And then when you go to the next one, maybe you just want. So QuickBooks has what they call a full custom payroll, and then they have a payroll whereby you don't have to use all of their services. And so if you're not using all of their services, that one is just, it helps you calculate the form, helps you do everything. They wouldn't submit it for you. They won't do anything. You print the form out and you send it yourself, or you can make some of your payments online yourself. That's a little bit lower. I think that is about $28 to $30, and then that's subsidized to be about $24 to $25. And then you can get a full payroll support from Intuit in the third level, whereby just put all of the information in that you need, and then they help you submit it, they help you transmit it to the IRS, to the state, and to other agencies. That's all you need to do. That's a little bit pricey for a month, but still, if you just want them to do everything and you don't want to have any control over it, that's something you can go with.
There's one I just remember called Gusto. It's a Gusto. So I think the price is about $30 a month, but that's not too pricey. I mean, they give you the basic things that you need. So all you have to do is just to create an account, and then you log in. You have to add your employees' social, how much you pay them hourly, how many hours they are working a week, and stuff like that. And then they will go through and do all the calculation for you and send that to IRS on your behalf. So it's called Gusto. That's Gusto. I suppose that's how they pronounce that name.
Okay, so I do have, and I posted it in the comment box for those that want to check it out. When it comes to the form, the state form 20 or 22, is it just for the state of Nebraska, or how does it work?
Yes, every state has their own related forms. And so I don't know if you put it up yet, if it's from 20 or 22, that's only related to Nebraska. And that form, there are different areas that it actually helps you if you want to get license or certificate for different. You can use it for your sales tax. You can use it for your payroll as well. I think there is a tobacco license if you want a tobacco license, if you want a drinking license, everything like that. And so yes, the forms are always specific to the states because it's all relates to states' taxes.
I do have a question. Filling out those forms, for instance, you started small and then you just have it for your sales tax. Now you're ready, you pass all the tests, you want to have an employee. Do you have to go back and change anything on that form?
Right now, they just make you fill an amended one, I think.
Okay, so you need an amendment. That's great. Um, Eric, you look like you wanted to add something.
No, I think he said that. That's what I wanted to say. They're not gonna make you go back and do everything from the beginning. They will just have you add something to what you did already. So.
Okay, so something that I've heard over and over again is
Not again, the internet. Okay, you're back now.
all right, we are back. So the question was, as a business owner, it's very important to build a strong relationship with your accountant, your tax expert. Why is that?
Because that's where you can lose money. That's where you can save money. I'm very straight, forward, and I'm straight to the point. I don't, say that, but you get the point what I said. So if you have somebody who is, who is your accountant, but they're not very good, you're gonna be losing money. So it might be, it might make sense to pay somebody more because they're gonna save you more money. Suppose I come to Tumi and I pay him $500 and he saved me $10,000 versus me going to somebody and paying $50 and they are saving me $2,000. Does that make any sense? I should be going, right?
Just kidding.
I mean, that makes total sense. So sometimes though, you might look at it's just like, if you are in trouble, you want to get the best lawyer you can get your hands on. Is that making sense? Otherwise, you're gonna pay with your life. So it's the same. Here, it's just not your life, but it's your money. But you get the bottom line. So.
Wow. Straight to the point. To me.
I said something earlier. maybe lost in a little bit of what we're talking about. I mentioned I've had clients for over 14 years. Right? Um, you, I don't. If you come to me, I don't request your trust. All right, you have to feel comfortable enough. I'll tell you, I log in into people's bank account. I do a lot of these things because it makes it easy for me to do my job and actually to keep them a little bit accountable. I am not just just a regular tax accountant or just a regular bookkeeper. Okay, I've done a lot, and when I say I've done a lot, I've been an auditor before. Okay, I've been an auditor, I've been a bookkeeper, I've been everything. So it helps me to help you when I see that okay, you don't have good segregation of duties. You have so lax in some areas, and so when I keep looking at your stuff and look at your financials and some things like that, I actually help you more. Coming to the trust factor, it's sometimes it's not even about savings. It's about getting you to the next hump. You know, as I said, I'm also an advisor. I've tried to take my CFA exam, and I'm part of a lot of different stuff. You just have to have that trust in your accountant, almost like you have in your lawyer. But you just don't pick them from the streets as well, too. You have to be careful. It's mentioned about talking about doing your research on your software. You also want to do your research on your accountants. Collect references. Tell them, if you want to get an accountant, if an accountant doesn't want to give you a reference, don't go that route. And so you want to protect yourself. At the same time, you want to be able to get somebody that will really do the job for you. Your accountant, I've had some people come to me and I asked them for information and they were like, what do you need it for? I'll fire you right away. If I'm asking you, if I'm asking you, okay, if I'm doing something I do your taxes, I know what your social security number is, your date of birth, this, I have actually I asked for driver's license at one point because sometimes it helps you protect your taxes, right? She's still there. Just want to make sure we didn't lose her.
I think she should be coming back.
I'm here.
Okay. I want to make sure we didn't lose you. Sometimes now they ask for for driver's license so that it helps show that your account it's not being compromised or things like that. And I would advise people that when you're doing your tax returns, put your driver's license because that protects you. And they were like, "What do you need my driver's license for?" I was like, "I'm trying to make sure your taxes are protected." The first time though, I give some people don't know why. I give them the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, some people don't even ask me that question because they know that, well, it's probably for something that I need it for. It's doing my taxes. And so you have to have that relationship with them for sure. The trust has to be there because, the financial, you have a lot of financial information to them. And sometimes your accountant will help you better if they see that you trust them and you're able to kind of reveal a lot of more information to them.
Wow, wow. Lots of good information. And one thing I know is don't wait to be needing that service before building that relationship with your service provider. So it's good to be ready. So do your research now and make sure you have someone in mind. When that time comes, you can just pick up the phone and reach out to them and let them know, hey, to me, I'm ready to use your services, right?
Exactly.
Any more comments?
So one thing I wanted to say though, you want to be able to also ask people questions. You can ask your friends who they use for an accountant if they are very happy with the service of that person. And when you go to the different people mentioned to you, you can interview them. If you want to hire somebody, you should be able to interview that person. Is that making sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ask them questions. Because people don't think about things this way. They always accept the fact that they should be interviewed by the person instead of them asking a lot of questions. You can talk about experiences, if there is any area that they have difficulties in, what they find difficult to, just, general questions to know if the person going to be a good fit for you. Because we are talking about trust.
Right.
But when we talk about trust, there's always this idea of being a good fit to each other also, because that's where trust comes from. If you are very different to begin with, it's going to take a long time to trust each other.
Mhm.
If you are really close or you feel like you know more about that person, then things will be a lot easier.
Wow, thank you so much for that tip. So, for those that just joined, we were talking about payroll versus 1099. When do you know you're ready to employ people? When do you know you can just continue with your contractors? And even if you're just going to use contractors for the time being, what are the tax to hire contractors? What are some of the forms that you need to know about? If you didn't connect from the beginning, I'll really encourage you to go back and watch from the beginning, especially small business owners, entrepreneurs. This is needed. That's why we brought these two experts in the field. They know what they're doing. They have a lot of experiences. Feel free to reach out to them if you have questions. And when you're ready, we have an accountant they do and they actually teach this, right?
Yes.
All right. Any more comments before we go?
Just wanted to go quick. I mentioned earlier, every time you hire somebody, this is very important for the state of Nebraska. I'm sure other states would have this. Try to make sure you actually also put them on go to newhire-reporting.com/NE. It totally helps to keep track of those that you hire and also for unemployment purposes. And so it helps with the statistics of for Nebraska as well. Too. So that's one thing they really want you to actually fill out. If you don't, you might also get in trouble with it. I think that's pretty
So
much
you
it.
said new hire reporting.
Newhire-reporting.com
Okay, hold on. Let
slash
me
E
new hire dash reporting
.com then
dot com
forward slash NE.
or forward slash any.
NE Nebraska, yeah.
Okay, NE for Nebraska.
Yep.
All right. Is it showing?
No, we don't see it on the screen.
All right, I think we have it now.
Yep.
Let me see. Do we have a comment? Oh, I have Martin watching. Thank you so much for watching, Martin. Oh, hi, hi. That's a hi. So back to that site. This is somewhere you need to go. New hire-reporting.com.ne for Nebraska. I'm sure other states have their own. Make sure you do a little bit of research to find that out. Well, we have come to the end of today's discussion. Thank you so much for being on the show, Dr. Eric. And Tumi, thank you so much for being on the show. Until next, bye bye.
Bye, guys.